So in this video, we are going to learn how to send all the details from Airtable to ClickUp automatically. So in this video, we are going to set up an automation workflow using which if you have some details or some data like the details of the task in your Airtable database. So using this automation workflow, you can actually send all the details from Airtable to ClickUp, and using those details, you can create some task over there as well, that too automatically. So to set up this automation, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. So in Pabbly Connect, first we will get the details or the data or all the records from Airtable, and then we will send those details and create new tasks in ClickUp. Now guys, how you can set up this automation? To know this, you have to come with me to my screen.
So as you can see, here we are on Pabbly Connect's dashboard. Now to reach this dashboard, you will get a free sign-up link of Pabbly Connect in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can create your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. And after reaching to this dashboard, just click on Create Workflow and give this workflow a name. For example, I would like to name my workflow as Airtable to ClickUp. And then just click on Create. Now you can see that a workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, we have 2 different windows. First one is the trigger window and second one is the action window. So triggers and actions are basically those 2 concepts, those 2 principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's begin with our trigger window. So the idea here is first we have to get the details or the data of all the new tasks which we want to add in ClickUp from Airtable inside Pabbly Connect. So first we are going to connect our Airtable account with Pabbly Connect and get all the data of task or the details which we want to add in ClickUp in our Pabbly Connect workflow. And after that, using Pabbly Connect, we will be sending those same details in ClickUp. So here you can see that in my Airtable account, I have created a table. So this is just a simple table having just 3 entries, just 3 records, 3 rows. But instead of this, you can create as big data as you want according to your requirement. So here we have 3 records. So first we are going to connect Airtable with Pabbly Connect and get this data in our Pabbly Connect workflow. But even before doing that, we have to set up a trigger. And in trigger guys, we will be selecting schedule. So basically we are telling this automation workflow that when and how many times we want this automation workflow to be executed. For example, let's take an example of once. I only want to add the data from Airtable to ClickUp only once. So here by selecting schedule by Pabbly, the next thing it asks us is how often you want to run your workflow. And in the drop down here, you can see an option once. We just want to run this automation workflow once. And then it is asking us date and time, that at what date and time we want this automation workflow to be executed. So we are selecting the today's date, that is 6th of January 2023. And we will be selecting time, for example, 4 p.m. So let's select date and time, 4 p.m. And after selecting it, just click on save. So whatever date and time you are going to select over here, at the exact same date and time, this automation workflow will execute. It will get the data from Airtable and add all of these details in ClickUp. Now after scheduling it, just scroll down and come to our action step. And here guys, what we have to do, as I told you, we have to get the data from our Airtable database inside Pabbly Connect. So to do so, in Choose App, search for Airtable. Select Airtable. And then in action event from the drop down, select the action event as Get All Record. Click on Connect and select Add New Connection. Now here guys, we have to connect our Airtable account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, we have to enter the API key of our Airtable account. Now here you must be thinking how you can get the API key. So to get it, just go to your Airtable account. On the right side, click on this profile option and click on account over here. After coming to this accounts page, just scroll down and here you can see the API key of your Airtable account. Just copy this API key from here, go to Pabbly Connect and paste it over here. And then just click on save. Now as we click on save, we can see that our Airtable account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the first thing it asks us is the base. That from which of our Airtable base we want to get the data, we want to get the records. And in the drop down below, you can see a list of all the bases which we have created in Airtable can be seen over here. So the base which we are using in this video is named as project data. So here in Pabbly Connect, from the drop down, we are going to select the same base from which we want to get the data, project data. After selecting the base, the next thing it asks us is the table. So it is most likely possible that in a single Airtable base, you have created multiple tables. Right now, I have created two tables over here. First one is scheduled interview and second one is the new task. So I want to get the data from this table, new task. So select new task over here, your required table. Then you can see an option of simple response. So what we have to do, we have to turn this button off. By default, it is turned on, it is switched to the right side. We have to turn it off, we have to switch this button to the left side. And then when we click on save and send test request, the data of this complete table will be received inside Pabbly Connect. So as I told you right now here in this video, we are just having three records, three rows of data in this table. But instead of this, whatever data, how big your data it is from in this table, after clicking on save and send test request, we will get the complete data inside Pabbly Connect. So let's do it. Click on save and send test request. And yes guys, here you can see that we have received some response. And in this response, you can see that the data, all the data of the table is received inside Pabbly Connect workflow over here. But guys, you will notice here you have received this data in an array format. So we have collectively received all of this data in array format inside Pabbly Connect. And also you will notice one thing, that we have received the data of all the rows, of all the records. We are not received the data of this Airtable database of a single row or one by one in the separate format. We have collectively received all of this data in array format. So what we have to do, in the next step, we will be converting this data from array format to a simpler format. And also using the feature of Pabbly Connect that is called iterator, we are going to process this data one by one. So here we have added this data in a row-wise manner. We have created a row, a record of data. So let's take an example of creating the task. So let's suppose these are new task details and we have added the details of each and every task in this new row. And we want that every new row should be added as a new task in our ClickUp account. But here in Pabbly Connect, we have collectively received the data of all the rows, all the records. So using the same iterator, we are going to convert this data into a simpler format. And also we will be processing this data in one by one row-wise manner. So how it is done? Let's see. It is very simple guys. Just scroll down, click on this add action step button over here. And then here in choose app, select iterator. After selecting iterator by Pabbly, it has automatically chosen the response which we have received in array format. So here in choose array, it has automatically detected the response which we have received in array. What we have to do, we just have to click on this save and send test request button. After clicking on save and send test request, here you can see that we have received some response. And in this response, you can see the data of array format of the first row. So here in array format, you can see that we have received these details of the first row till here. So this is data is been received in response into a simpler format. So we have the same task name, same tag, same priority, same description, and same created time over here, which we have added for this in Airtable. So this means using this action step of Airtable of get all records, you can get the data of the complete table from your Airtable account. By turning the simple response button off, we get a collective data. And using iterator, we change that collective data into a simpler format, and one by one we process this complete data in a row-wise manner. So the important note over here says the response include the first expanded data set as value, which can be mapped in further step. At the time of workflow execution, it will process all values one by one. We support iteration of maximum 500 records at once. So here it is showing us that the data of the first value, the data set of first value is been received over here in this response after using iterator. Now after this, what we have to do, we have to map the same data which we have received using iterator in ClickUp. So for that, just scroll down, click on this add action step button. And then here in choose app, search for ClickUp. Select ClickUp over here. And then in action event from the drop down, you have to select your desired action event, that what you want to do with this data which we have received from Airtable. So I want to create a task, so I'm selecting create task over here. But instead of this, if you want to create a task comment, if you want to create some task from template, or if you want to create some task without folder, you can basically select any action event according to your choice, that what you want to do with this data. I want to create a task, so I'm selecting create task over here. Then just click on connect and select add new connection. Now here guys, we have to connect our ClickUp account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, we have to enter the API token of our ClickUp account. So here you must be thinking how you can get the API token. So to get it, just log into your ClickUp account, and on the left bottom corner here you can see this profiles option. Just click on it and then click on apps over here. As you reach on this apps page, here you can see the API token of your ClickUp account. Just copy it from here, go to Pabbly Connect and paste it over here. And then just click on save. Now when we click on save, you can see that our ClickUp account gets connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the first thing it asks us is workspace. That in which workspace in our ClickUp account we want to create this task. So here in the drop down you can see right now there is only one workspace named as Pabbly's workspace. So we are selecting that single workspace over here. Then we have to select the space. So I have two spaces. First one is named as space and second one is Pabbly Connect. Let me show you. We'll just go back and here you can see there are two spaces I have created, space and Pabbly Connect. So I want to create the task in this space named as Pabbly Connect. So here in Pabbly Connect workflow, here we will be selecting that space. After selecting the space, we have to select the folder. So here we have only one folder, as you can see that is named as integrations. And under integrations, we have two different lists. So in the next option in our workflow, we have the drop down for list. So from the drop down, select the list in which you want to create this task. After selecting the list, it is basically asking us some other details regarding the task, like what will be the task name, description, assignee ID, and all of these things. So here guys, we have received all of these details. We have added all of these details in Airtable, and we have received the Airtable data in Pabbly Connect. And using iterator, we have extracted the data of the first value just for mapping, just for setting up this workflow. So here guys, from this response of iterator, one by one, we are going to map these details in their respective fields. And guys, the process of mapping is very simple. Simply click on this field and in the drop down below, you will see a list of all the responses which we have received from previous step. Out of which, from the response of iterator, select the response of task name and it will be mapped over here. So whatever task name we have been entered in our Airtable database, with the same task name, a new task will be created in ClickUp. Now after this, it is asking us for the description. So just click here. And from iterator responses, select the response of task description and map it. Then it is asking us for assignee ID. So here right now it is not showing any assignee. Let's click on this refresh button. And yes, here you can see that a list of all the team members who are with me in this workspace of ClickUp, you can see all of them. So to which user, to which person you want to assign these tasks, you have to select that from this drop down. So I want to assign this task to the admin. So I'm added admin, or I have selected admin over here. Then it is asking us tags. So if you want to add some tag for your task, ClickUp task which you are creating, you can add it over here. So we have also added the data of tags in Airtable, and from the drop down, we will be selecting that tag. Then it is asking us for priority. And in the drop down below, you can see a list of 5 different priorities are present over here. Now what we are going to do, here when you will turn on this mapping button in front of it, you will see priority as 1. The mapping value is 1. So from the scale of 1 to 5, we have to enter the priority. And in the same format, we have added the priority in our Airtable database as well. So from here, just turn this mapping button on, just clear the response, and from the drop down, just map the response of priority over here. So here guys, in ClickUp, priority means if we map the priority as 1, this means this task is very urgent. And if we enter priority as 4 or 5, this means this task is not urgent at all, or the priority is normal or less. Then it is asking us due date and start date. That do we want to add any kind of start date and due date to this task which we were creating. If you want, you just have to enter the due date and start date in these given fields. And we have to map this data in the timestamp in millisecond format. There is a specific format in which we have to enter this data. Right now in this video, I'm not adding any kind of start date or due date over here. So from the drop down of due date time, just select no. And from the drop down of start date time, I'm selecting no. If you are entering the start date and due date of the task in any other format in your Airtable database, using a feature, a module of Pabbly Connect that is called datetime formatter, you can convert that data. You can change the format of that data into this timestamp millisecond format and map that data over here. After this, the last thing it asks us is the status. What will be the status of these tasks? So I want the status of these tasks to be open. So I'm selecting open over here. Instead of this, you can also map the status of the task as well. You just have to enter the status of the task in your Airtable database, get that data inside Pabbly Connect, and by turning on this mapping button, you can map the response over here as well. After this, just click on Save and Send Test Request. After clicking on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see that we have received some response. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the data which we have mapped over here, basically the details of the very first record which we have received from Airtable data inside Pabbly Connect, and using iterator, we have actually converted that data of the very first value in the simpler format. Using these same details, a new task is created in ClickUp. So let's check it. We will go to ClickUp. And yes, guys, here you can see that YouTube integration, the same task whose data we have received here in iteration response, you can see the same task has been created in iterator. So we have the same task name, we have the same tag, we have the same description, and also we have the same priority which we have mapped. So this means the automation workflow which we have created between Airtable and ClickUp using Pabbly Connect is working perfectly fine. Now, because we have scheduled this automation workflow to be executed only once at this particular date and time, at the same date and time, this automation workflow will run, and then it will get the data of all the records of all the rows from our Airtable database, and then using these details, it is going to create tasks in ClickUp account. All of that at once without any manual effort. So not just these applications, guys, you can connect plenty of other applications using Pabbly Connect. And guys, one more important thing, you will find the clone link of the same workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can clone the same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account and use this automation workflow for free. Also, let me tell you, Pabbly Connect offers you a free plan. And in this plan, you will get some free tasks every month into your own Pabbly Connect account. So if you want to try and test this automation, you can do it for absolutely free.
If you have any kind of doubts or queries, you can post them on forum.pabbly.com. So if this video was helpful to you, you can obviously like this video, comment down your suggestions, and don't forget to share it with others. So guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.